Hi, welcome back to Everyday Ghalib. My name is Amit Basole. I'm a faculty member at Azim Premji University in Bangalore. In this series of videos, if you've been watching the earlier ones, you know that we take a sher or a couplet of the famous poet Ghalib and we think with that couplet. These couplets are drawn from the book Thinking with Ghalib, which I have co-written with my friend Anjum Altaf from Lahore. Today's couplet evokes a theme very similar to something that we have seen earlier in this series, where Ghalib is thinking about the meaning of faith and faithfulness. It's a powerful couplet, again perhaps not as well known as some of his famous ones, but one that deserves to be very famous indeed. Vafā-dārī, ba-shart-e-ustuvārī. Vafā-dārī, ba-shart-e-ustuvārī, asle-īmāñ hai. Ustuvar means to be firm, to be founded. वफादारी बशर्त उस्तवारी असले ईमान है, मरे but-ख़hāne में तो काबे में गाड़ो ब्राह्मण को. मरे but-ख़hāne में तो काबे में गाड़ो ब्राह्मण को. Faithfulness, if it is firm, is the criterion of true belief. It's the essence of faith. If the Brahmin dies in the temple, then bury him in the kaabe. Think about that. The last line, the second line, a startling proposition. Ghalib is really testing the limits of what can be said when we take seriously the thought that it is faithfulness to what we believe to be right and wrong that matters, and not our outward faith, so to speak. So here again he is playing with the powerful symbols of Hinduism and Islam, and he is saying, look, in the first sentence or the first misra, the first line of the couplet, he says, do you agree with me that it's the foundedness of being faithful that really matters? That's the essence of faith, that you stick to your beliefs. The second line, he very cleverly unsettles our imagination, and he puts two things together that really don't go together in the standard way of thought. He says, look, here's a Brahmin. He is true to his faith. He lives in the temple and he dies in the temple. He lives and dies literally by his faith. So if he is dead in the temple, then that makes him worthy of a burial in the Kaaba, the holiest place for Muslims. The Kaaba is the place where true believers are worthy to be buried. Who is a true believer? Who apparently, according to Ghalib, doesn't have to be Muslim at all. He just has to be true to his beliefs or her beliefs. That's a really powerful sentiment expressed here through very powerful words as well. Think about the word gādna. It's such a powerful image to bury something. The meanings here are, of course, can be unpacked and are many. Especially in the subcontinent, we have seen years of history of a systematic effort to polarize identities and to exactly do the reverse of what Ghalib is asking us to do. That it's all about the outward manifestations of who you are and what kinds of symbols and rituals you practice. If you have both, if you have a bit of Hinduism, a bit of Islam, and you are a Hindu Muslim, as the old category used to be, before these categories became so separate and frozen, communities that practice both are forced to now choose. And we polarize people that way. Ghalib is saying that all of this is really just mistaking an outward belief, a symbol or a ritual quality, and confusing it with what is real faithfulness. And he has rendered it very dramatically. Again, he has not said what it is to be faithful, what principle should be following, all of this, like we saw in the other couplet on a similar theme. He doesn't go into all of that. All he says is, mare but-ख़hāne में तो काबे में गाड़ो ब्राह्मण को. You think that the Kaaba is the place for true believers, where here I'm showing you a true believer. And that by that he is forcing us to think about very different traditions and how they should respect each other. He is not saying that I'm correct, you are wrong, or he's not even saying, well, I think you're wrong, but it's fine, you can exist, I can tolerate you. He is not saying any of that. He is actually according the highest level of respect in his tradition to somebody he respects. That is the key here that distinguishes it from ordinary tolerance and things like that. And as you can imagine, this is an extremely important thought for us today in the subcontinent, where in India, in Pakistan, everywhere, there are forces that are exactly preventing us from thinking in this way and getting together. So, in conclusion, let me come back to this, one of my favorite verses. वफादारी बशर्त-ए-ustuvārī asle īmāñ hai. वफादारी बशर्त-ए-ustuvārī asle īmāñ hai. मरे but-ख़hāne में तो kaabe में गाड़ो Brahman को. It's faithfulness, firm faithfulness, that is the criterion of true belief. If the Brahmin dies in the temple, then bury him in the Kaaba. He's worthy of being buried in the Kaaba. Join me next time as we continue our journey into Ghalib's very thought-provoking and in general provoking verses.